Hi everyone, I'm Nitsa. This is a special sponsored video sponsored by Marvel Snap. This is a Marvel digital card game that you've probably heard of. You know, if you play any sort of digital card games, you've at least heard of this game. It is a really fun game I've been playing since about December, and the main thing I'm going to focus on here is on the Conquest mode, which is a new way to play the game. As a Marvel card game, your cards are all Marvel characters. They all have a energy cost, which you can see in the upper left-hand corner here, and a power value. The goal of the game, as you'll see when we play, there are 3 locations. The goal of the game is to accumulate enough power to win at least 2 of those 3 locations to win the game. What's interesting about this new Conquest mode is that it's a completely new way to play the game. So if you have played Snap before, you know that for most of the time it's been around. It hasn't been around that long. It's a relatively new game. You've only been able to play in the ranked queue, which is sort of the base gameplay for most digital card games, right? Where you would play against other people of your rank, and if you win enough, you'd go up in rank. You can go down in rank if you lose, and so forth. This mode is different because you don't just click play and get matched up against somebody. You play instead a series of games. You go on a run where you enter once, and then the goal is, in this Conquest mode, you have to move through these different levels while you accumulate medals. You can use these medals to, purchase things from the shop, which include avatars and card skins and stuff like that. And, first you start in the Proving Grounds, you win a game there, then you go to Silver, then you go to Gold, and ultimately you can go to Infinity at the end of the season, which is about a week away, at least when I'm recording this. So this is sort of a more competitive game mode. You can't lose, so, that's key. You don't have any losses to give up. You have to win to keep going. But instead of just playing one game, you actually play a sequence of games in this mode. Where, the person who wins the most ends up advancing and the other person doesn't. Because this is the first Marvel Snap video I've ever done on the channel, as you can see, I'm sort of introducing you to the game in addition to this new game mode, but when we're playing the games, I'll be able to introduce you a little bit more to the game's concepts and mechanics and stuff. But if all of this sounds interesting to you at any time in the video, you can download Marvel Snap by clicking on a link in the description below and check out this new Conquest mode. If you haven't played in a while, or if you've never played, check out this game in general, which I do think is a really good game, one of the better ones out there. So let's, start our Conquest. So the deck I'm playing is a control deck called Sarah Control. The basic goal of the deck is to interact with and disrupt things our opponents are doing, but unlike in some formats, in some card games, we don't tend to do it necessarily all game long. We wait until the last turn to drastically alter the board by destroying their stuff and adding a bunch of power to our board. So that's kind of what we're planning on doing here, and you'll see how it plays out. We have a bunch of cards that hate on things our opponents are trying to do, more or less. All right. So one of the really cool elements of this game are locations. So you can see that decks are actually quite small. You have a 12-card deck, right? So variance in this game would be pretty low because you do see most of your cards every game. But these locations are random, and that's sort of where you get the variance element that makes card games so interesting. So I'm trying to decide if I want to play Nova here. When Nova gets destroyed, it gives all my things +1 power. I can destroy it myself. That's the goal later in the game. The problem with playing it early is there are ways for my opponent to disrupt Nova by keeping it from being destroyed or destroying it before I want to, and I don't think I'm going to play it for that reason. Overall, this deck's goal is to wait until later to do things for the most part. There are exceptions, like this card Sentinel, which gives me a copy of it when I play it, and Angela, which gains power when I play cards at her location. These are things that I do like to play early. Sentinel's great, a 2-cost, 3-power thing that gives me a copy of itself. So I get to hold on to it to add more stuff to the board later, which is nice. So none of these locations are super disruptive. Some of them can be really obnoxious, which I think makes things interesting, but yeah. I think I'm going to play Angela and Nova over here to add some power. If they do end up having a way to deal with Nova before I want Nova to be dealt with, it's not that big of a deal now. All right, so they played Vulture, which means that they're going to try to move their cards. So this is the key card in our deck. You know, I called it Sarah Control. This is what allows us to do a bunch of crazy stuff on the last turn. There are 6 turns, by the way. So she reduces the cost of everything in our hand. So we really just go off on the last turn. Probably just going to play another Sentinel and probably do it over here. Yeah. I want to take advantage of this location's ability to give things power, but I'm not playing anything else yet. And the reason I can afford to do that is because of Sarah. Once I play her, it'll be very easy for me to cast most of the things in my hand. Alright, so Vulture's going to get moved and grow. The good news about that for us is I can destroy Vulture with Shang-Chi, who destroys big enemy cards at a location. I'm not super concerned about it yet. I think I'm going to play Sarah. I'm just trying to decide where. Ooh, I could double. Yeah, let's play her here. So this doubles ongoing effects, so she's actually going to reduce things by 2. It is limited down to 1, but obviously it means I can play, like, my Enchantress, who can turn off, you know, static abilities effectively, ongoing abilities. And my Shang-Chi will also become a lot cheaper. So yeah, they're moving stuff around and getting synergy out of it, as you can see, like multiple man. When it gets moved, it leaves a copy behind and stuff, so. Okay, so we can kind of go off here, which is the goal. They played this, which means we can move stuff, but we're not really going to. They are, because they'll get value out of it, but I don't think it matters too much. The downside is that our opponent might move Vulture, like if we try to kill it with Shang-Chi, but I think we can add so much power to the board that I'm not too concerned here. So yeah, I'm going to play Mysterio. So he adds 3 bodies to the board, and, you know, that's pretty nice in any game. So we're about to fill all these locations basically on our last turn. So let's do this. Where do I want to play Enchantress? Trying to decide whether Shang-Chi will be able to destroy Vulture. Where is it likely they... I mean, I guess it's likely they move here. So I'll actually play Shang-Chi here, Enchantress here. Just kidding. I just don't think we're going to bother. I think instead... My last turn with this deck can take a while because we do so much. But yeah, I think we'll do this. So Hitmonkey's about to be like absolutely massive. And then we play Killmonger, which will destroy our 1-drop. It'll destroy theirs too, but we'll also buff our whole board, which will be a pretty big deal. All of a sudden, our whole board is filled. So, you know, this deck wants to be able to fill all 12 locations, and we did. All right, so what is going to happen here? Well, we're winning this location. It's going to be a question of whether we can win the other locations. It's gonna be close. Unfortunately, I played my real Mysterio here, and he's the one that actually has 4 power. Yeah, that should do it. I mean, Hitmonkey, I didn't show you what that does, but it gets +2 power for every card we play. So, I just played, like, all those cards in 1 turn, so he gets huge, and that ought to do it. Yeah. So... in this game mode, normally you just play 1 game like this in in regular gameplay, and then you gain rank points or whatever. But in this, you play a sequence of games with these cubes, which is one of the cooler mechanics in the format in Marvel Snap, because it's like how to put it. It's unique enough that it's hard to explain. But if you feel like you're in a winning position, you can snap, which means the opponent... well, I guess they conceded. That's a bit of a bummer. No, they didn't concede. We're just going to the next game. So you can snap to get more cubes. No, I was right. They did concede. You can snap to put more cubes on the line. Cubes are how you advance rank normally, but in this, it's your health bar. And once you run out of 10 health or cubes, you lose, or or if your opponent runs out, you win. So that first round we won, and so we get the entry fee to the Silver Conquest. We have to win twice now to advance. But yeah, you can see the game has a lot of synergy. There's interesting variants because of the locations and so forth. So, okay. So, Scarlet Witch is a card that we have for when problem location shows up. She transforms them into a random one. And there are problem locations. Unfortunately, this is one of them for us because anything that keeps us from being able to play things on all the locations is annoying. And this will. And we can't even change it with Scarlet Witch because she costs 2. So this is not a situation where I would want to snap early. And we're not going to play anything. Spider Ham. Yeah, I haven't actually seen this card, as it's telling you. Transform the highest card in your opponent's hand into a pig, keeping its power and cost. Nice. Okay. So it just turned off our Killmonger's ability, which is a bummer, because Killmonger could have killed Spider Ham. Spider Ham. I'm going to play Angela here. It's just a vanilla 3/3 now, effectively, so. Which is, could be worse, but. We don't have a one-cost thing to draw. Okay, Bishop's here. He didn't show up last game, but he's sort of like the Hit Monkey, where he loves it when we play a bunch of things. So Electro. There's probably some kind of ramp deck. Electro gives you more energy. Shang-Chi is pretty good against ramp decks because they tend to play big, scary things. So we're going to play a Sentinel here. So if I fill this, I get a 6-cost card that will cost 0, which I could play on Crimson Cosmos, which is interesting. The question is whether or not they can play 2 things here and unlock this first, but I'm going to go ahead and play Nova, and we'll see what happens. We know we don't have Killmonger, and Killmonger's our card that kills all the 1-drop things. That's kind of a problem. This is a cool card. Steals the ability of their top card in their deck, which we now know is Odin, so that's good to know. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and get this card. The only problem with this is filling up this location, they'll sort of know what we can and can't do. So I might hedge against that a little bit here. Yeah. It is our last turn, though, and getting a random 6-cost thing that costs 0 is pretty... I think we're going to go for it. We're not going to do a very good job in this game of adding a bunch to the board, unfortunately. And I'm thinking about retreating. That's something you can do when your opponent snaps, if you're like, wow, I am not in a good position, and that's kind of where we are. We're going to go ahead and play our pig here. Alright, so we get the 6-cost thing. Oh, that's a horrible one. If you build around this, it can be interesting because... But it destroys all of our cards at everywhere else. So, I don't think we're into that. Yeah, we're going to retreat. We have really no way of winning. And if we retreat now, we're only going to lose 2 health instead of 4. So we're going to retreat. I really needed to get a good 0-cost thing. And we didn't. So, high power, but destroys everything. The way you build around that is by having cards that can't be destroyed or give you value for getting destroyed, but when you get a random card, you don't know what's going to happen. There are a lot of good ones we could have gotten, so that was our only real out. Spider Ham has returned, and they turned our Hit Monkey. Yeah, that one's very bad for us because Hit Monkey's only good because of its ability, so it's basically a dead card now. Okay, so this is a location we do not like. But I'm not going to do anything about it yet. I want our opponent to play in such a way that they think the game's going to end on turn 4. Yeah, he destroys the top card. We have Killmonger in our hand, which destroys both of these eventually, so that's good. There might be something to be said for just letting the game end, but we'll see. Probably not, though. I mean, our deck usually wants the game to go long. Sentinel. Yeah, we're going to play it here. Cards here aren't going to be revealed until the game ends. I don't want to do that, because I'd like a copy of Sentinel in my hand, and if it waits till the game ends, then... So... yeah... I think we'll Scarlet Witch this. Okay. They decided to retreat. Works for me. They didn't... It's kind of funny. I guess I should have wanted the game to end there. It's hard to know sometimes, you know? I was going to make it so it didn't end, and that might have actually been better for them, but they didn't know, and they were worried about giving up 4 health. Okay. Not going to play Nova, although it's highly unlikely. They don't seem to have Killmonger, who could destroy Nova before we want Nova to be destroyed. And they don't have armor either, so I'm just going to go ahead and play Nova, actually. That's one nice thing about this mode, is because you play against the same person over and over, you know, it's like playing best of 3 in other card games. You know more, you can strategize a little better, because normally you have no idea what your opponent's doing until they play at least a card or two. But yeah. This is going to transform into one of the other locations. I don't think I play anything here. Oh boy, we get rocks shuffled into our deck. These are just like useless cards. 1 cost, 0 power. Although, sometimes in our deck we can make use of them, since we want to play a bunch of cards anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to play Sentinel here. Getting more rocks and or another ninja is not awesome. And that's what's going to happen with this location. So, this is pretty bad for us, because we need to draw Sarah so badly that diluting our deck is bad news. So some more ninjas and a rock. Okay. Yeah. So no Sarah. We're not very likely to draw her because of the rocks. Might be worth retreating. See what our opponent does with all their extra energy this turn. I think I'm going to play Scarlet Witch just for the power. Sometimes this can backfire since it generates, you know, a random location, but... Okay, so that one's not going to do anything. That is bad. So Sandman makes it so we can only play a card a turn, so it's amazing against us. Of course we drew Sarah, but I think we're going to have to retreat. This card is way too good against us. We do have a hate card for it, but we didn't get it. Enchantress can turn off the ability. I can't win if I'm only playing 1 card a turn, so yeah, we're going to retreat. You know, we're winning every location, so it looks like we're doing all right, but the fact is that they're going to be able to play one really, really big thing that will just end the game because they have all that extra energy. Like Magneto. So I'm gonna change Bar Sinister because we don't really want this. Fills a location with copies of the card that gets played there, and we'd rather not. So we want spaces to be open so we can play our hate cards and stuff like that. All right, so let's play Bishop. We have Sarah in our hand and Mysterio. This is the kind of hand where we can consider snapping early, but if they play Sandman again, we're in trouble. Okay, so I can play Sarah a turn early because they did that. And then that's what I'm going to do. They can probably play Magneto or something, which is even stronger, but we can kill it later with Shang-Chi, so... That's fine, I think. Freaking Sandman. Used to be a horrible card. But they, like, you know, rebalance things. Yeah, there's Magneto. Ooh, that's very bad, because Bishop gets destroyed by Fisk Tower. Yeah, we do draw 2 extra cards. That part's nice. But losing Bishop is not so nice. Okay, so we have Enchantress if they do play Sandman, but they're not going to because... Well, I guess they could play it here. Yeah, that's not good news for us. Okay. I'm definitely playing Sentinel somewhere. Yeah, the downside about reducing the cost of things is now I can't play them over here. I could try to guess where they're going to play Sandman and play Enchantress, and I think I will. And I'll play Armor over here, and then next turn we'll play a bunch of things. Well, that's bad. This deck is very good against our deck. It just, like, nerfs so many cards. Yeah, we do turn off an ability. Although, actually, this did not go well. We turned off the downside that the card it's copying has. I think we might still be okay, though. I can't believe they hit Shang-Chi with that, though. That is frustrating. But what are you going to do? So, okay. Yeah, the problem is these things costing 1 is very frustrating. Yeah. Don't think we're gonna win, and I'm trying to decide if I should retreat. I probably should. I mean, I could add a bunch of power to the board, but the limitation from this is a big one. Still, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah. Oh, except I have to... Yeah, I'm gonna play Hitmonkey here. Except, well, I'm running out of time. I should have played Hitmonkey before Nova gets destroyed, but what are you gonna do, you know? I wasn't gonna have time to change it all. Yeah. We're gonna win the location on the left. The one on the right's not looking so good. Should have played Hitmonkey somewhere else, obviously. Yeah, so we lose. Just barely on these two locations. So, we're down to 2 health. This is such a bad matchup for us. So now there's always 2 cubes at the beginning. It's not actually any more high stakes for us than it would otherwise be because we've only got 2 health. So, so there's that. You know, that's upside. Yeah, I don't really want to play Armor. It's an ability to turn off with Enchantress because he makes it so the power on their cards can't be reduced, and they usually have a reason to want to do that. I mean, works against Necrosha. Well, we get to play Sarah early again. We've really only had that one game where I really got to do the Sarah thing. Okay. Well, we're going to have to Enchantress that now. Oh, man. That is bad. So, they played it at the same location we played Sarah, so... And the effect is symmetrical, so our Enchantress is going to turn off Sarah, too, but I don't think we can win otherwise. So I just have to live with it. Wow. Okay. They seem to always know what we're doing, and I seem to never know what they're doing. So they moved my Enchantress, so I couldn't shut off the Sandman ability, so yeah. We're gonna try. We can only play 1 card is the problem. So Sandman is a nightmare, but it's not impossible. I mean, it's pretty much impossible. They're gonna play something a lot more expensive. Yeah, like Magneto or Doctor Doom. And we are not going to get there. It's a bit of a bummer, but, you know, it happens. You run into a bad matchup sometimes. And, you know, did sort of feel Murphy's Law-ish, where the worst thing happened several times. Like them playing Sandman, the same location we played Sarah. Like, that was very bad. And then they were able to move this, which that's part of their strategy. They wanted to protect Sandman. They knew I was going to play Enchantress if I had it, so it was smart on their part. That one's not just bad luck, but there were some things where it went the way we didn't want it to. So one of the cool things about this game is as you play, you accumulate these boosters. You use those boosters to upgrade your cards, which just means you make them look fancier. They don't get better or anything. And that advances you through your collection for the most part. You have to accumulate tokens to purchase some of the cards, but you can do that just by advancing through levels too. So, and you get alternate. This is an alternate for the lizard that I didn't already have, and stuff like that. So you know, it can be a grind, but you can unlock pretty much everything, and it's a fun game. So, not that hard to do. Yeah, Conquest incomplete. So we didn't do amazing. We did not do amazing, but you saw how this new format works. Hopefully you saw some of the interesting gameplay available in Marvel Snap. Again, if you think this looks cool or you want to return to playing Marvel Snap, click on the link in the description below, and you can check out the game. I do definitely recommend it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.